want to advise those present that notice of this regular meeting of the Housing Authority of the City of Hoboken has been provided to the public in accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act. Notice of this regular monthly February board meeting was given by publication of the annual meeting notice of the authority with amendments as necessary. Was sent to the Star Ledger on Tuesday, February 3rd, and sent to the City Clerk of Hoboken on Tuesday, February 3rd, 2026, with a copy of the agenda to be posted on the affirmations bulletin board in City Hall, Hoboken Library, and Hoboken Police Department, and post on the authority website on Tuesday, February 3rd, 2026. I direct the minutes of this meeting to state that I have announced the adequate notice of this meeting has been given as required by the Open Public Meetings Act. Director, could you call the roll call?
Yeah. David Edwards. Here. Anthony Forbes. Barbara Reyes.
Present.
Jean Rodriguez. Present. James Sanford. Erica Seitzman.
Present.
Carmen Vega.
If you could, Frank, I would just have Commissioner Rodriguez say it herself. I know she's on the phone.
Say president. Say president.
Thank you.
As long as everyone can hear her and she can hear everyone else.
Mark, Director, you can start with your report.
Thank you so much, Chairperson. So I changed up my report just a little tiny bit this month. The HCOP Resident Services Committee met on January 29th and reviewed the proposals for program partners that are before you tonight in a resolution form. We went over a number of issues regarding resident services. A lot of the services that you're going to hear Becky talk about when she gives her report. Is there anything else as part of my report that anyone from that committee would like to bring up?
The survey?
The survey is not out yet? Almost out.
I think it is up. It's up.
Thank you. You want to address that? I actually
I did. Yeah, it is. It's on social media. And it's
I'm
on
sorry.
our
I'm
website
sorry.
as well.
I'm sorry. Who's talking? I just need you to just. I'm sorry. I just couldn't hear you back there.
Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Sorry about that. So it's Sandy Balinas, SandyBalinas. Yes, and the survey is in the website. It's on social media, and it was posted, I think, last week, if I'm not incorrect.
Do you know what section of the website it's on? I couldn't find it. Okay. Maybe you tell everyone.
I think it's going to go in the newsletter too.
Yeah, it is.
It will be. Yeah.
The newsletter should be out in the next week or so.
I think so.
Yeah, it's true. Anything else? If not, we'll go on to the Finance Committee, met on February 3rd, discussing a range of issues on budgeting and financial reports. We talked in depth about our improvements on reporting of tenants' accounts receivable, which you will see some of later during my report, and with a follow-up with Commissioner, and we also had a follow-up meeting with Commissioner Edwards, or maybe a couple. A full discussion of examining utility consumption data for both our public housing and Fox Hill sites was held and is a real initiative that we're diving into right now. Commissioner Edwards, well, before I say that, I do have a news flash. The Finance Committee has been tracking the closing out of our from PHA forgivable loan from the Housing Finance Agency. Closeout forms were received this week. Yay. And I signed them today. So it is done. It is closed out. If you remember, that was approximately $12 million that did roofs, it did boilers, it did the elevator refurbishments in a number of buildings and some exterior duct pointing work. It did a lot of work for us. And it was a loan that was given to us that was forgiven 20% per year. So in 5 years, we owe nothing. And 5 years was up this past year, and we've been asking for the closeout documents, and they finally got here, and we're signed, sealed, and delivered on those. So that's some good news. Committee Chair Edwards or anyone else from that committee want to add anything to that?
Thank you. Since we haven't had a chance to do it before, other than piecemeal, I just want to say thank you to particularly Chairperson Reyes and Seitzman. I mean, we meet monthly. It's a substantial time commitment. And also, too, obviously the director, Emil, and others, Frank, who have been involved, Yesenia now. And I just wanted to take like 2 minutes. We accomplished a lot in fiscal year, in calendar year 2025. And I was just going to run through them real quick. I mean, we now review the financials monthly. And I think out of that review of the financial monthlies, we've identified the utilities as an area that we've got to take a look at. We put together a cash management policy, and we looked at the use of our funds. And just to get, put numbers to this, in 2023, interest income for the Housing Authority was $61,000. Last year it was $275,000. Now, part of that is a rise in interest rates, but it's also a good bit to do with the fact that we looked at it and found better ways to responsibly invest that and get good returns. And that's money that's then available to fix fences and do all the other kind of stuff that is done every day. We also looked at the Fox Hill Management Agreement and realized that there needed to be a reallocation there. With Fox Hill, we also spent a great deal of time looking at the overall financial position, and we've now come up with a budget that clearly defines how much money is available, which is what led to phase 2, the construction that's about to take place, and gives us a solid number to look at as we look at what the next priorities are, which I think will be meaningful for the determination and the budgeting process. The audit for numerous years said we had significant deficiencies and material weaknesses. We've addressed that through the hiring of Nan McKay, and hopefully address that this year. I mean, that's one step away from not getting a good audit. I mean, that's the next step from material weaknesses. So I think it's very important we do that, and it will give us an even cleaner bill of health with the audit. I mean, those are, I may have missed one or two from my list here. Now specifically to the Finance Committee. The one thing the Commissioner the Director did not mention, which will have an impact on us this year, is HUD has come out with 2 new sets of substantial regulations that they relate to interest income and they relate to how we deal with the operating subsidy. I won't get into the details, but I can guarantee you, in short, more work, less money. And we'll need to address that this year. The other thing we've done too, I think, is we've got a robust RFP process now. We had 3 RFPs come to us last month. We've been able to do additional due diligence on them, and we'll be coming to you with them again next month for approval. As far as the tenants accounts receivable, exactly as the Director said, there's been a lot of time and effort into this. And there's really 2 goals from my perspective. One, there's a lot of information here, but how do we digest it and provide it in a simple format that really takes a look at how we are progressing with these past due receivables and the court dates. And we've tried a number of formats. We hopefully are going to be meeting between now and the next Finance Committee meeting, and hopefully we'll come up with something. It's great information there, but I candidly have trouble following it, and if I do, I guess some others probably do too. And then the other thing is to look to integrate it into our financials. Right now, you've got tenants accounts receivable over here and finance over here, and there needs to be some integration of the 2, which will impact the financial numbers on a sooner basis. Right now, some of the stuff we do on a tenants account receivable, we only look at annually. We'll start looking at it quarterly, hopefully, which will then improve the accuracy of the numbers. We also, too, are looking to, I guess the other RFP that's coming down the road is an RFP for debt collection. Yes, we want everybody to continue to stay in their apartment. Yes, we want repayment agreements to take place, but unfortunately, there are those that do not comply with those. And so the next step is lockouts, and the next step is then looking at debt collection. That's money that we hopefully will get back from those people. More on that probably in the next, probably maybe not next month, but the following month. The second item that the director mentioned, utilities. Again, I think part of the reason we're looking at these utilities is because we're looking at the financials monthly. And why does it matter? The numbers right now between what the AMPs use and what Fox Hill use are just all over the place. There may be a very logical explanation for that, but there also may be overcharging. There may be things that identify that there's some work we need to do to correct leaks or something else that's going on. Or it may be accurate, I don't know. But the fact that we're looking into it, we've looked into other things before, which has led to money, additional money that we didn't think we have. Again, looking at the Fox Hill Management Agreement as an example. So, in short, thank you to those. Thank you for all we got. The cup half empty, half full. We did a lot last year. We still got it. We've still got the rest of the cup to fill up, and we're working on it here in 2026. So, thank you.
And thank you, Commissioner. Security Committee met on February 11th with Hoboken Police leadership. The chief was there along with his officers. I think we had a very fruitful meeting. Some specific problem areas were addressed around the authority. We also spent a lot of time doing a thorough review of how to increase our enforcement of our trespassing policy. We are going to be coming back to you probably in March with some fairly minor adjustments, but some adjustments to the trespassing policy. One of the things we agreed on was more no trespassing signs, which we've been working on today already. The group agreed to some of those changes, and we expect to have that back to you at the March board meeting. I will just take an addenda to that the police have significantly ratcheted up their enforcement of the trespassing. We actually had some arrests today on defiant trespassing, as well as the overall picture. They've been there, they're on our sites more, and there was actually a major action taken by the police today. So they're here, they're listening to us. Anything we want to add from that security committee meeting?
I just want to say that also discussed were some of the concerns that the residents had that had been brought up to some of the commissioners. That was also discussed, so I don't want the residents to think that when they are telling the commissioners the concerns they have, that they're falling on deaf ears. They're not. We are communicating those concerns to the police department. They are working on them. I just want to let the residents know that it doesn't happen overnight. There's things that the police have to do to be able to take action, and they are. And the major action that was taken today is one of those things where it takes time before they can move on and take action to those things. We did spend a lot of time, as the director stated, on the trespassing policy and the banning, the list, the people who will be banned or are banned from the list, and how that will work. And I guess as soon as next month, the whole board will be voting on the changes that will be happening, that will be needed, so that the police can take the proper actions on site. And the whole goal of it is to make sure that everyone is safe and everybody feels safe. And not just here, not just in the senior buildings, in the residential buildings where we live, as well as, of course, the senior buildings. But I think sometimes we also forget the family buildings, where there are a lot of things that are happening, and they are addressing them. So I just wanted to say that, and I wanted to thank them for their hard work.
Thank you. Some resident concerns from last meeting. Management staff and I met with a group of concerned Fox Hill residents on January 12th. Subsequently, I presented a report to the board on January 20th regarding that meeting. Staff also had a follow-up meeting with the residents after that. As reported on January 8th and verified at our January 12th meeting, two individuals in particular were singled out. as a major cause of some issues happening at Fox Hill. Both individuals, by the way, already had eviction actions filed against them, but the meeting and the information we got there actually helped from there. I will be able to share progress information with the board on these cases as they proceed through court, but confidentiality prohibits me from being too detailed on what's happening there with those eviction actions. I can say to our residents that action on these cases is taken, and on those cases is a good example. It's already taken, but sometimes you don't know about it. Similar to what the chairperson mentioned, we do pay real attention to this, and we push these cases as hard as we can, but we can't always tell you when we file a motion against a resident that may be misbehaving in the building or maybe doing something in the building, and it takes some time to build that case. The court system goes along at its own pace, often slower than we wish, but again, rest assured that we are proceeding as quickly as the courts will allow. I would again say anyone who's got a concern about a particular problem you're having in any building across, feel free to contact me. And I will tell you what I can about a particular case, or you may be bringing something to me that we don't know about yet. So it's always good to talk about it if you've got a concern. If you think something's happening and you think some action needs to be taken, I do ask you to go to your manager and speak, but if it's just not happening like you would like, feel free to come to me. I will note that I would never tell a resident, much less a resident organization leader, that we can do nothing, but because we can, and we do. My message to the residents is that we need specific evidence of infractions under the lease in order to take action. We're a landlord, we're not a police force. So we need to attack the lease, and we need to do it fairly. The laws protecting the rights of a resident to remain in their unit so that a landlord can't capriciously throw them out are quite strong, as they should be. We as landlords shouldn't be just walking up to somebody and saying, get out, we don't like you. And the tenant laws protect you, and that's a good thing in my opinion. But it also, from a perspective of maybe one resident that's misbehaving, it's harder to get them out because of that, and we need that good evidence. That thing we've talked about so often, of you reporting to your manager, this happened at 2:15 yesterday afternoon, so we can go back and try to capture it. Anything you can put in writing really, really helps on those efforts. It often takes repeated offenses and clear evidence when we walk up to a judge, because this is serious and we take this serious. We do not want folks to lose their apartments, their living space, and the judge doesn't. But if somebody's acting so egregiously, we need to be able to walk up to the judge and convince them that these actions are worth turning to a family and saying, you need to leave where you live. And that's serious. That affects people's lives. And so we can understand that perspective as well. But I know it's frustrating sometimes because it does take a lot to get to that point often. It was an individual that was concerned that somebody was knocking on her door. We did install ring cameras. During that week, we found no perpetrator, which was great. Our security guard was slamming a stairwell door near her apartment, which may have led to her hearing somebody knocking, but that could have contributed, but that door's been repaired, so far so good, and she's been able to get a ring camera on her door since then too, so that's great. Clear reports to your manager are crucial, or myself. Please feel free to call me at any time, resident leaders, any resident. I do meet with individual residents or groups upon request, and as most of you know, my direct number, many of you know that, is 201-273-8492. Don't be shy. Give me a call. And some of you out there are not, which is great. I appreciate that. 24/7. The elevator cameras at Fox Hill, Adams, and Monroe are installed and undergoing final testing. We're moving ahead. I've seen the test videos. They look excellent. So I'm hoping that by the time we meet next month, we'll be able to say that all of the elevators in our senior elderly buildings have elevator cameras that are operating, so if anything happens in those elevators, we will have on tape. So that's happening. We are developing a scope of work and obtaining a cost estimate of what it will cost to install cameras on floors at our elderly and disabled buildings. We'll push that as much as we can, as much as funding will allow. So we do have some money that we can set aside at Fox Hill because of their programmatic putting reserves aside. And we are also talking to the city about a possible CDBG funding on those cameras as well. So we're attacking that, and we're pushing it as hard as we can for whatever funding avenue opens up that will jump into that funding avenue on these. So we're working away on that. I was concerned about a report of a trash chute at Fox Hill that was cluttered for a number of days over the holiday. A resident did move out. We found and put all of that furniture in that room. We did speak to maintenance about assuring that the required trash room inspections be done even over a thin-staffed holiday. I do again ask that if any of you see that, if a trash room, and we've seen it before, a tenant moves out and they put all of their stuff in a trash room, right? And you can't even get in, right? And if you see, and yes, our maintenance person should see it when they go through, but they're not perfect, and particularly over the holidays. In this case, they missed it. So feel free. My direct number is 201-273-8492. So if you see that, we don't want that either. So feel free. A speaker did express her concerns regarding Commissioner Vega, also a resident of Fox Hill. We have not found any clear evidence to demonstrate any harassment, and Commissioner Vega denies any such action. They have committed to the sensible action of just staying away from each other at this particular time and going from there. The concept of transfers did come up at the meeting last month in general. A resident got up and was very frustrated that it was taking a long time to get his transfer, but there are reasons for that. That individual, for example, is properly housed. They have no particular disability or anything that would cause them to need a transfer, so they do go on the transfer list. They do. But the transfer list procedure, when an individual requests a transfer, we do put them on the list, but there must be priorities on that list. If a family comes in with a court order transfer or a doctor order saying that they need a different unit, or they must be transferred for medical reasons, if a family is overcrowded in a unit, they must take priority over an individual or family that is a properly sized unit, who's just fine, and domestic violence, of course, takes priority. So this individual had no such priority, and I understand his frustration, I do, that he wants a bigger unit, but until that time that we have no one that needs those medical type transfers or anything, you wind up on the list. And some of you have talked to me about this. You come in one day and you're number 10, and then we come in 2 months later and 3 people have walked in that have a priority, and now you're number 13. And you go, what's going on, right? I get it, but I want you to understand that...
I'm sorry, excuse me, Director.
Yes, sir.
But I get that often,
Yes.
that they were one number, and
Yes.
then they were switched to another number.
Yes. Yes, and again, I am always open, River, to somebody coming in and doing a one-on-one, and we've done this often. We've actually gone through them and tracked exactly where their number was. So feel free to come in if you run across River, refer them over to me. Have them have a meeting with me, and we will go over in detail what happened to that. Because I understand it's frustrating at times. So I get you. Anything else, Reverend?
No,
Okay.
thank you, Director.
Yeah.
So moving forward, I will contact
Yeah,
you
please do.
with those
Yeah,
incidents.
give them my number or give me their number and I'll be glad to reach out. And I understand it's frustrating at times. Did we have something else teed up on transfers? Yeah.
If I could just add one
Yeah.
thing while you're doing that,
Please do.
Director, just to make sure the record reflects that Commissioner Forbes did join us at least at 7:15, if not earlier. So he's been with us for a while. Thank you.
So we had a short video that we're going to be distributing around.
Hi, I am the new Management Director for the Hoboken Housing Authority. In this video, I will show you the steps for requesting a transfer, the types of transfers, and who qualifies for a transfer. Are you ready? Let's get started. Has your family situation changed, and do you want to request a transfer to another unit? First, let's explore the types of transfer and the conditions to meet. Transfer types are emergency, senior, disabled accommodations, medical, administrative. Now let's see what they are individually. An emergency transfer is one that poses an immediate threat to the life, health, or safety of a family or one of its members. Immediate administrative transfers are when a family is initially given an accessible unit but does not require the accessible features. The authority may require the family to agree to move to a non-accessible unit when it becomes available. Regular administrative transfer. The authority may also transfer a family that was initially placed in a unit in which the family has overhoused to a unit of an appropriate size. This is based on the authority's occupancy standards when the authority determines there is a need for the transfer. How is the transfer list prioritized? First, emergency transfers, such as unsafe living conditions or domestic violence. Second, immediate administrative transfers, for example, accessibility or building renovations. Third, a regular administrative transfer, such as a change in family size. And fourth, other required transfers. If you receive a unit and you are not satisfied, you can refuse a transfer offer with a valid reason. For example, there may be a health or safety concern, but 2 refusals without good cause may result in removal from the transfer list. Now that you know which type of transfer you can request, get a transfer form from your site manager, complete all the necessary information, bring it back to your site manager, and make sure you get a copy of the stamped form for your records.
Thank you, Sandy, for putting that together. We appreciate that. We're doing a series of those, and it just happened to be timely, so excellent. Thank you. Other executive issues? Beyond that, we are working on our application to submit to the city for next year's CDBG funding. We're looking at cameras, card access. We're looking at our overall bell system, which has been giving us headaches in some areas. And we're looking at some ideas on increasing our parking spaces, which is not only a current issue because we just don't have enough spaces, but it is also going to be an issue as we go into redevelopment and we take over the large parking lot at Harrison to build a new building. So we're looking in the future on that. Emil and I are working with Attorney Manfredi on finalizing revised personnel policy. We will be bringing it to committee in the next month, and we hope to have it to the board for an initial review in March. A policy like this normally takes 1 vote and then a month to take a look at it and then a second. So we will be processing that through. We've been working on this for a while and we think it's in really good shape. On ICE, we all know ICE.
Can we please keep the conversation in the gallery to a minimum? Thank you.
So I guess there's two subcategories. There's 2 subcategories on this. One is, let's be careful of slip and falls, right? It's just been awful, I mean, this weather has been just extremely bad. The ice has been terrible. A lot of black ice, a lot of ice we don't see. Sandra fell, a couple other folks, my future son-in-law broke his foot. So there's a lot of issues with that, so let's try to be careful out there for everybody. And then the other ice, which is guys with masks and picking up people on the street, which is the immigration enforcement folks. So I will say that I fully support Mayor Jabor's stance and what she has clearly stated of Hoboken being a sanctuary city, that we are neighbors, we are in many ways family, and we will try to help each other just as much as we can. We have a couple ideas that we're going to be running through the RAB board of some small things we can do on this. I'm still holding with my staff that in order for ICE, if approached, and this hasn't happened, but if the housing authorities approached, that we need a judicial warrant to come into our property. Now, there's some national controversy that ICE doesn't necessarily agree with that, but I'm still holding that stance. And I would ask the residents what I've told my staff. If this happens, please contact me and or our office as your manager immediately, and we will be on the scene as fast as we can, because we want to work together on this and make sure we have an appropriate response to this. I've had long talks with, for example, the food pantry, where their numbers at the food pantry have gone down significantly since this action. Whether somebody is a citizen or not, many people are afraid to come out. And so we've got some ideas like, the food pantry allows you to pick up your stuff and something for one other person. So maybe we can do a thing where if somebody's afraid to come out, we can form that group of volunteers that says, well, I'll go for this person, I'll go for that person. So things like that we're going to work out over the next month. But it is a concern, and it's not something that we're not paying attention to. We do have an order from HUD that we have to have anyone that is a non-citizen that's living with us recertify their essentially papers, their documentation that they are a legal resident, that did not expire. We must go back. So we will be sending a letter to the folks that are on our lists that we know that they're legal non-residents, and they're allowed to live with us. There's no question. They're fine. But they're asking us to reach out to all those families and have them come in and recertify. So you're going to, those families, that's not everyone, but just those families, and those folks know who they are pretty much, are going to get a letter from us saying, please come in, see your manager, and recertify this. You'll be seeing that over the next month. I would like for the board to get the idea of a spring 2026 board retreat. I think what we're going to do is we're going to have Lourdes wants to send out an email to you folks, to board members, to kind of poll you on maybe April and May on Saturdays. Tell her what your availability is, and we'll collate that and see when we might find a date that's open, and hopefully April, May. Now, if it goes a little longer, it's great, but we're just going to. That's my starting proposal, is to get us together like from 9 to 3 on a Saturday to really get into some strategic planning for the housing authority. Lourdes did pass out, I believe, a list of conferences coming up for 2026. So if you're interested, and if you haven't yet, please get back to her on anything you might want to attend. On Hoboken Housing Forward, a lot is going on. Mr. Merchant's been a busy guy.
He has.
Frank, I'll hand it over to you.
Well, thank you, and I would be remiss if I didn't say we have a Councilman Rubin here in the room who was instrumental, one of the votes that needed to pass this in December, which kind of started the official change from planning to implementation. So officially starting in January, the Housing Authority, our partner RPM, together we are what we call Hoboken Forward One Urban Renewal, or H4A, as you will hear moving forward. So H4A entered now the actual process of laying out the sequencing for the pre-construction and everything that will need to happen to even get to construction. So formally, we're negotiating with the city. As I just mentioned, in December, they granted us a temporary designation that allows us 180 days to work towards a redevelopment agreement with the city. We've now set some meetings that happen bi-weekly with the city folks. We have some meetings that happen internally with our partner H4A. We're meeting with architects and engineers. We're going through planning and design. So as we do this, this is when we will be coming to you for your input. And so that this is when we're going to make those final decisions, those little fine details. When we were working on the strategic plan, when the city was working on the Hoboken redevelopment plan, they did some outreach, and we had some community meetings that were well attended. So we hope that you will participate because we want your input. This is when maybe we'll start actually talking about a sink, or things like that that might require your input and your experience in living in the units and how you live in them. So as we move forward, what we will be working on to advance phase one is, number one, we have to conclude our environmental with HUD, which, by the way, thank you to our partners in HUD. They have granted us the permission to continue as a Part 58 as opposed to a Part 50. Those are two types of environmental reviews. But what that means for us is that it will protect our schedule and avoid unnecessary delays so that we can stay on track. As we strengthen our governance and oversight, as Commissioner Edwards was speaking of, we are pushing towards new ways of how to bring you the information, not just of the redevelopment, of our finance, of everything, so that it's timely, that it's transparent, and that it makes sense to you as we're presenting it to you. So what I would ask to be in the lookout for, not just for our residents, which is one of our stakeholders, but to all our stakeholders in town, be on the lookout. We are looking to put together what's going to be called the HHA Expo. It's going to be a format like a conference. When you go to a conference, you have tables and then activities. So the tables that I would hope to see at this HHA Expo is all our partners in the city, all our partners in the resident services. Tonight there's going to be, we're going to be giving many grants to all our community partners, and I would love for them to participate in this as well. And obviously our staff, so management, our managers, resident services. So we want to do a day where we can give you 5 hours at least, so people that work early, people that work late, everyone can participate. The idea is to invite you to come in, meet who we all are, and see how all the stakeholders, we need to work together. This effort that we are creating here with the redevelopment is going to be multi-phase, multi-year development, and in order to make it as, to leverage our resources, we need to be working together. Number one, with the city, with the state, with all of you, so that as we put the pieces together, I don't want you to be surprised with any step of it. I want every time that something happens that you knew that that was happening and that you had a say or that you at least participated in that decision. So I leave it with that. I thank everyone that's been pushing it forward. It is clear to me that the new administration is 100% on the side of the Housing Authority, and I would be remiss if I didn't thank Mayor Jabor, because I know that she went out of her way to say, what do we have to do to push this down the finish line? So thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Director, and everybody that's putting the effort.
Thank you, Councilman Reyes. Councilman Reynolds, I didn't see you sneak in. Would you like to say anything regarding where we are?
On the redevelopment?
Yeah, sure. You're the Secretary Partner.
Let's hold that. Bless you. Thank you for your time, Director. Thank you, Commissioners, for your time as well, and the residents for being here tonight. As Frank stated, Hoboken is an eager partner in the redevelopment plan, this redevelopment process. And when we have conversations with the director and our new mayor, we give you one directive, like we want the pedal to the metal and through the floorboard. We want to move as fast as possible. We're full partners in this and with full transparency, so it's with all the residents, so everyone understands what's fully going on and how everyone will benefit ultimately from the end of this project. And one other portion of good news that residents may not be aware of is we also worked on for the past year and a half a containerization implementation for housing authority residents. Many of you know, if you live in smaller buildings, there's no place to throw your garbage internally. And most residents just throw their garbage bags out in the street, in the corners, and it gets picked up whenever it gets picked up. And obviously that's contributed to a big rodent problem within our neighborhood and throughout the city as well. And the city adopted a containerization policy, and this will, you're getting containers at 7 different locations for those smaller buildings to be able to go outside and throw your garbage out, or your refuse out, in a containered fashion. So it's secure from rats and everything else, so it can combat that. We take away their food source. If you go throughout the entire city, look in front of everyone's buildings, they have those large garbage cans and containers that keep rats away, and this will help implement that program throughout the city as well. And I think a CDBG funding, recently another award for Mama Johnson Field. It's a partnership with the city of Hoboken, and we have over $500,000 to go to the field house. We just approved that last night. So the construction on that will start this spring. As we also know that this field house predominantly used for many girls events throughout the city. So we want to have equity between our boys and girls that are playing on the Little League field uptown. We want them to feel the same specialness in downtown as well. So those are 2 projects we've worked on together the past couple of years. And I know a number of residents had individual concerns that you and I have discussed, and hopefully you can resolve those issues for those residents as we move forward in the next couple of weeks. And that's it from me. Anyone, I'm always available anytime, any place. I appreciate your time tonight, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And I want to say to thank Councilman Ramos for his leadership. I mean, he's from the beginning of this, and from the time I hit this town, he's been a leader for this community, and he's on the phone with me constantly, and he's looking out for your concerns all the time. So thank you so much for what you do. Yeah, it takes all of us. Moving on, project-based vouchers. Nothing really new. We're just waiting for the American Legion to get their paperwork together. Resident meetings with me. The next resident meeting, Resident Advisory Board meeting is scheduled for March 3rd. A typo in my report. We are planning a new election for resident council members at Harrison Gardens, and that would be in March, not in January. We are working on revised bylaws with the Resident Advisory Board, so we're through a couple versions of that, and we're hoping to have those new bylaws done for you soon. As far as resident activities, there's a lot of them going on, but I will say there's this room's going to be a prom night on Saturday, on Valentine's Day, right? I continue to meet with residents on a personal basis. I met with 11 families in the past 30 days to work on individual problems. As the councilman noted, when we have issues, feel free, make an appointment with me, come down. We sit around my table and try to work out your issues. I encourage any resident to reach out to their manager, Ms. Villafane. We can always set up a meeting with you and meet with me personally if you can't work it out with other members of my staff. On a Fox Hill management report, the Housing for Hoboken trustees met on February 5th. We are developing a plan for the next round of capital improvements at Fox Hill. We did meet with the contractor today. Staff met with them yesterday. And to kick off the storm doors at Fox Hill and the concrete work at Fox Hill. So now we're on to planning for the next phase and putting improvements into there. And we'll be back with the Fox Hill residents on that. On management, We have been consumed with the NAMBK initiative and straightening out any issues with that. It's going very well, we think. Repayment agreements, lease enforcement, and file maintenance. With the push we have made with Yesenia and Matt Fitzpatrick.
Can we put our phones on vibrate, please?
There has been, of course, generated a ton of work, and it's good work. It's work that needs to be done. So I will, I think, ask Yesenia or Matt to kind of bring us up to date on where we are on tenant accounts receivables, Yesenia, and then Matt on Yesenia and Matt on eviction, lease enforcement, and court. So Yesenia, you want to kick us off? Are you there, Yesenia? Well, you might be on mute, Yesenia. I don't know. We can't hear you. What I might ask then is Matt, while we're straightening that out, maybe somebody gives Yesenia a call. You're on another line, aren't you, Frank?
No, he's got it.
Okay. You might.
Sure. I'd be happy to give an update on the process and where we stand with the whole initiative.
Thank you.
So by tomorrow.
Excuse me, I can't have talking on a phone in here. I can't have talking on a phone.
Si tienen que dar el teléfono, por favor, saca al bol a hablar, por favor.
It doesn't matter who it was. Can't be.
Thank you.
So by tomorrow, actually, we'll have prepared and provided to the authority complaints for every non-payment matter that's been submitted to us so far. Upon approval by the authority, which I don't anticipate will go beyond next week, those remaining complaints will be filed with the court promptly. And I expect that all cases currently in process, including the ones I just referred to, will be assigned court dates in April at the latest. We already do have some dates in March lined up, and we've met with a number of the tenants scheduled for those dates. In many cases, we already have agreements in place that it's just a matter of going to court and putting those agreements on the record with the judge and having them approved. And based on my analysis, which I think lines up with what I spoke to Yesenia about on Tuesday, of the account aging reports, after these filings that I'm referring to that are very much in process and will be done by next week, that would leave 112 households where the amount owed is the equivalent of 3 months' rent or more. At the current pace, I expect that, hopefully, that would mean 3 more batches of 40 complaints, which is what we've been doing, will be filed by the end of March. Hopefully one of those would be by the end of February and the other 2 would be in March by the end of March. Bringing the total of cases filed and in process or either resolved at that point since the initiative started to 320. And I expect that at the court's current pace, all of those cases will be in court by about the middle of May. So barring something unforeseen, I think that starting in April, we would be able to switch to filing once a month for all cases at that point that would be more than 2 months owed. I think we talked at one point about how that 30-day notice is required after the first missed payment, and because you have to wait those 30 days, essentially you're always going to have at least 2 months that aren't paid by the time you have a complaint filed. So the goal would be starting in April, we would be filing those monthly, whatever the number is. And assuming that we have what we need by about the 5th business day, right after the 5th business day, which is when the rent is due, we would provide complaints to the authority on a monthly basis for review by the 15th of each month. And then, of course, additional interim filings can be made as needed if we find that there's an uptick in 2 months, 2 months plus. We can always file more and more often if we need to. And I believe that all of that is consistent with the timeline that was relayed to the board in December. which would allow, as Commissioner Edwards alluded to, the next phase to get underway, which it would include debt collection. And that would still be on track to pick up around June. And just to remind you very quickly, it's not a matter of instantly being able to collect debt. You would have to file cases, get a judgment, and then that is when you would turn the case over to a collection agency to enforce that judgment. But that, from what I can tell, is very much on track, consistent with what we talked about in December. And the other thing I want to mention that's, to me, is extremely important with respect to the cases that have gone to court.
Can I ask, I'm so sorry, Matthew.
No problem.
Can I ask that the conversations, if you need to have a conversation, can you please have them in the hallway? The court reporter needs silence. Thank you. Thank you.
With respect to the cases that have gone to court, so far, every case has been resolved amicably, either by way of settlement, a settlement agreement, or someone didn't show up. In some cases, that's because the tenant is deceased or has left the unit but not technically surrendered possession of the unit. So that would be a default judgment in those cases. To me, that is a tremendous accomplishment, and much of the credit for that goes to both Yesenia and Jimena, who have been meeting with residents ahead of time before I even show up on site. So that way, if there are issues, they are sorted through by the time I get here, and we can get down to the business of trying to figure out a way to keep the residents in their units. There will be some coming up where there are other lease issues where the Housing Authority may not be willing to enter into a repayment agreement because there are other lease issues. So those may become a little bit more adversarial and require a trial in front of a judge, but that's to be expected. And as a result of Yesenia and Jimena's efforts, there have been very few surprises on the day of court. So even though one day in particular was a long day in court, it was a very productive day. By my analysis, the Housing Authority in January entered into repayment agreements for over $330,000 owed, and was awarded possession of 22 units, which can now be turned over once all warrants are executed. So I don't want to give the impression that those units will be ready right away, but hopefully, especially where we know that the tenant's not there, those units can be turned over or be in the process of being turned over relatively quickly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any comment on any cases on evictions for cause? Like I mentioned earlier, I know we have some of those going on right now.
There are a few in process.
I don't want any.
Yeah, there are a few in process. I know that there's one that's a particular hot button issue that is actually scheduled for court at the beginning of April, same time as some of the non-payment cases. And there are a few others that are in process without going into too much detail, but they are some of the ones that I believe raised issues at last month's meeting. And now that we are on, I think, a pretty good case with the non-payment cases, we have been focusing a little bit more on for-cause issues and ramping up notices and potentially complaints there as well.
Well, I'd like to thank you for that progress. I think you really ramped it up over the past few months, and I appreciate that.
I appreciate the board's patience and guidance.
Ms. Yesenia, are you on with us now?
Natalie tried to reach her, I tried, so something must be wrong with her
On
phone.
her end.
I tried also and I couldn't.
So-
Yeah.
Yeah, so, what I wanted to say, if I could, Matt, we are about to enter a difficult part of the evictions because up to this point, it's been the apartments that have been literally locked out or vacant apartments, or someone had passed away, or they had moved out. So the next court date that you have, we'll begin to see some evictions with families that are in the unit. So I just want to say that to let everyone know that this is going to be very tough. It's going to be very tough on the families. It's going to be very tough on the folks that have to make the decisions, because It's very hard, Director, when you sit there and you hear the story of a family and you know that you would give them a chance, but you know that you've run out of chances in your toolbox of chances. So I know that this is very, very tough, and we are going to now feel it in the next few meetings. So I'm just saying that so that everyone understands that potentially starting next month, what you will see at the microphone is some of those families talking, because we will be at that, or in the next couple of months. But to tie into Jasenia's report and something that we had spoken about earlier, every month when we sit here, we present what our numbers are as far as move-ins, move-outs, transfers. And even just in this particular report, what we see in front of us is that there were 3 transfers, 3 move-ins, right? So just in this report, it was a 50-50 move-in transfer. What I will pull together is all the dates that have all the transfers and move-ins over the last year to show you how many transfers, how many move-ins as a trend. But unfortunately, transfers are difficult because sometimes when you need to downsize a family, you might not have the right size apartment to downsize them to. When you need to move, when a family is underhoused, you may not have the unit, and there may have to be several movements. So we would love to be able to just say, those 5 apartments go over here, these 5 apartments go over here, and it would be what they would want, but sometimes timeline, it doesn't work that way, and it's tough. And we understand that, and we understand from your situation, it's difficult because you feel like nothing is happening. But please know that that is probably one of the hardest things, right? Is how we go about keeping that balance of new move-ins and transfers. Because at the end of the day, the services that we provide to you come from renting and from new move-ins. Every transfer is a negative as far as there is nothing, no new income. There is no. So unfortunately, that is difficult on what we're working on. So, but I just wanted to throw that in there, and like you said, you covered most of what you're saying.
If I could respond to one thing there, Frank, and I think that's important. I hope I didn't give the impression that the authority or I think that a potential eviction is a good thing.
No.
By the time we get to that point, I am confident in saying that the housing authority has tried everything it can to try and keep those residents in that unit, whether it's trying multiple attempts at in-house repayment agreements, trying to call people in for meetings to just discuss, like, hey, what's going on here? Did your income change? Did something happen that precipitated the fact that you stopped paying rent? Things like that. Even the fact that the housing authority has entered into a repayment agreement with everybody who has come and met the last 2 months plus. And they will continue to. But as you said, at some point, some of these cases are going to get to a point where there's no more that the housing authority can do, especially in light of the fact that some of these balances are fairly high, and there is a line of people waiting who will pay the rent, will pay it on time. It's a harsh reality, but hopefully it doesn't come to that in most cases.
Thanks to both of you gentlemen, and I would like to be clear, just in a final statement on that we will try everything we can to help folks keep their apartments, and we do. And our record is, I think, clear on that, and folks that have met with us. And that's my directive to staff, is we try everything. We go out to outside resources, anything we possibly can do. So by the time somebody gets to court, we've been around the corner a few times with them.
And again, I don't mean to keep adding on, but to that end, I think it's important to mention this. When we were in court most recently, we did have a case that we couldn't settle on our own, so we did utilize the services of a court mediator. And at one point, the comment was made that the housing authority was being unreasonable, and the court mediator actually said, to be honest, the housing authority may be the most reasonable landlord I've experienced in my, whatever it was, 5 years doing these mediations. So that's evidence that even the court recognizes that the housing authority is being extremely fair in trying to work with people.
And I'm proud of that statement.
Director, I just want to put on the
Yes,
record
ma'am.
that Yesenia did respond to me. She's having trouble hearing and speaking, so she did try to get out and get back in, but she still can't hear. So she's having technical issues, and she apologized.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. So I'll move on then to, our occupancy rates maintain a high level. We continue to do great there. It's going to be interesting. Again, the ripple effect of should a number of people leave us, then we're going to have to get, those units are going to be vacated and our occupancy rate may well go down, but that's par for the course. Management 101. On maintenance, the protective scaffolding along Jackson Street remains in place. You will see a thorough inspection of the facade has been accomplished. You will see that there is before you tonight a resolution to approve a contract to proceed with the repair of that facade. Maintenance report, we do have an elevator report. 310 is up and running. Okay, finally, at least that's up and running. We do have a promise and an expectation, we think it's real, that by the end of next week, 321 will be up and running. So thank you all that live in those buildings for your work and patience in that. I know it's been tough with one elevator in a building. And then when the storm hit, folks that had to walk across the roof because it was hard to walk up those stairs, so they'd go across the roof. And then the storm hit and you couldn't get across the roof for a few days because of the level of snow up there. So it was a difficult issue. But looks like we're going to get quickly toward a resolution of that. The board did approve a tub replacement contract a couple meetings ago. You authorized 30. 3 are already complete. And we've got a list of the next ones we're going to as we wrap up that project. So many of you that might need a tub replacement. And when we say tub replacement, we're talking about tile on the walls. We're talking about refurbishing that whole bathtub shower area. So it's not just going in and plopping in a tub. It's redoing the plumbing underneath, etc. Our courtyard playground at Harrison is a day or two away of being done. So we're going to be opening that up, and we'll probably have a grand opening come spring. But it's almost done, and that's a nice playground area there. 540 Marshall, if you remember, we did a sample increased extermination for rodents there. We're overall very happy with the result of that. We think we've made a good dent in it there. And it's not perfect, as Councilman even said, this trash thing's coming, but that was a good step as well. So we're looking at expanding that to all of our buildings in the coming year, and we're developing an RFP to go out for that same treatment at all of our buildings. I'd already mentioned a bit on snow removal, but we are going to be having a plan. They're talking about snow next week. Yeah. So we are going to be, and you'll be hearing from us, we're going to try this, similar to what the city's doing. We're going to be putting out notices to you that say, after the snow, that say, look, on Thursday, we'll be in this parking lot. You have to move your car Thursday at 2 o'clock. All right? And if you don't, you're going to get towed. Because then we can come through with the plow and get rid of all of the snow. Because right now what we've been able to do is get rid of the main snow along the centers of the parking lots. But essentially the snow between the cars has been your responsibility to deal with that. And I know that's not easy when you're elderly or disabled. So we're going to try this approach and see if it works on this next round. And to be able to clear all of our parking lots. Now, again, talk to your neighbors, because if we do this, we've got to be serious about it. And if somebody doesn't move their car, they're going to get towed. So for the greater good, we can clean out all the parking lots and create a safer environment for you all. Okay? So that's going to be coming to you. The boiler crew has been working hard. They've been keeping us warm. And when I say they've been working hard, wow, they've been working hard. And they've been working successfully. So thank you to the boiler crew. Again, if anyone's got an issue, feel free. We will come up, we will check that system, and then we will come up to your apartment to check if there's an individual problem in your apartment as well. And that's my orders to my staff. If they go out and check and the system's running, I expect them to come up to your apartment, knock on your door, and come in and see if there's a problem and measure the temperature in your apartment. As the councilman mentioned, we've got our trash container project going on. The city was great enough to pass some ordinance on that yesterday on allowing some more parking spaces to be taken because some of those are going to take up a parking space or two as the trash container, which are large, to sit out there so you can walk up, put your recycling and trash into those bins. They're rodent proof. We are looking at this point, out of the end of April, they're being manufactured at the current time. So it'll probably be the end of April, we're predicting, until they're installed, and you're seeing them out on the developments. Our consolidated operating budget actual statement is attached to my report and was reviewed at the Financial Committee. In addition, Finance has been working on assignments as requested by the Finance Committee. Our housing choice voucher budgets. Our housing choice voucher program is essentially flat. There is no money to issue new vouchers. It's just not there. We are able, because of rent increases and because of people in place, to kind of pretty much keep up with rent increases that are matching the incredible increase in rent through Hoboken. We can't give landlords everything they want, but we are able to do some increase for each. But still, they don't get what they might get on the private market. But what that has caused is that our budget is fully expended, plus a little bit. So we're going into a little bit of reserve for our voucher program, which again means that we don't have new vouchers to put out there for folks. So that's just the way it is right now. HUD did give the voucher program a slight increase, but again, not enough to keep up with rent increases across the country. By the way, I didn't mention, but in the budget that was passed, public housing had an 11% across the board cut. So thank you, Washington. I say that satirically. They turn to us again, turn to you again, and say, how are we going to find some money? We're going to cut 11% off of the money that is needed to take care of these buildings and to serve you. So we will continue to deal with this. We'll continue. We're focused to keep our services there for you, but it's going to be an even tougher job. So if you know your senators and congressmen, keep talking to them. This can't continue forever.
I just wanted to let you know, just send me, I was able to get back on if you need her. She wants to know she's
Thank you. Thank you. Welcome, Zania. And the coordination of finance has been working on the coordination of the CDBG funding. Our fiscal year audit, as amended and approved by you last month, has been submitted to HUD, and we're awaiting HUD's final approval on that. We do have a new answering service that we're reaching out to possibly do that very soon on changing our answering service that you folks call into at night. And we're working on that credit collection RFP that Matt referred to. I will turn it over to Becky to bring us up to date, I think through a short video on resident activities. Becky, are you there?
I'm here.
Anything you want to say before Angel presses the button on your video?
No.
Is it us? Is it them?
Yeah.
Right? Everybody's happy.
Sure. Press the vote.
Go ahead.
Hoboken Housing Board Meeting, Resident Services Report, Thursday, February 12th, 2026. Mineral Gardens, bingo, Tuesdays at 6. Pastoral Care, Fridays at 7. Food Pantry, every other Friday at 8 a.m. Dr. Purissima, podiatrist, once a month. St. Peter Christian Church, Sundays at 9 a.m. Tune In Together, Fridays at 1:30 p.m. Adams Gardens, bingo, Mondays and Thursdays at 7 p.m. Dr. Purissima, podiatrist, every other month. Tune In Together, Fridays at 2 p.m. Movie night monthly at 7 p.m. In Fox Hill Gardens, we have bingo on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Pastoral Care Saturdays at 6:30 p.m. Dr. Purissima, podiatrist, every other month. Movie night on Fridays at 7 p.m. And band-resistant exercise classes on Wednesdays and Fridays at 10 a.m. Family housing units, activities and events. Andrew Jackson Gardens, Harrison Gardens, and Christopher Columbus Gardens. Adults, bingo at the Annie Forbes Community Room on Fridays at 6 p.m. Christopher Columbus Gardens Community Room on Fridays at 7 p.m. For kids, we have the breakfast program at the Annie Forbes Community Room on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays at 4 p.m. 10 Reasons at the 311 Community Room on Mondays and Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Homework help at the Annie Forbes Community Room on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays at 3:30 p.m. Karate program at the Annie Forbes Community Room on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 4 p.m. And guitar lessons at the Annie Forbes Community Room on Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Please subscribe to our Nixle and stay ahead. Register today by scanning the QR code with your phone. Past events. We had a wonderful day at Adams Gardens with Sit the Pain. At the Annie Forbes Community Room on Martin Luther King Day, we had the very first Street Life Ministry breakfast program. And in Fox Hill, we had a monthly birthday celebration.
All right. Becky, was that it?
I just make a correction on the program.
Oh, boy, you're phasing in and out on us a bit, Becky.
I think she wants to make a correction on the breakfast program
Yes.
time, because it said 4 p.m., and I believe it's not, it's like 7:30
Or
a.m.
6 or something.
It's 6 a.m.
6 a.m. Okay.
Becky, anything?
I actually, it's 6:30 and 7:30.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I apologize.
I'd like to mention one other thing, that the multi-service center from the city has been having a heating problem. Their boiler system has gone down. So we've been helping
Can we
them.
please keep the conversations down, or I'm gonna have to ask residents to step out?
We've been helping them out, and I appreciate residents that are being flexible. We've been helping them out with some of their programs coming over to our community rooms because they can't operate over there. So, yeah, we've been helping them out in good communication with the city. So we've been trying to make sure it's clear that we don't do anything that you had planned, that they're going to dislodge. So a little organization on that, but keep in touch on that. So we think so far it's working. I think they expect that problem to keep going until the end of March at this point. So we'll be in touch. Yeah. Okay, and that, I believe, is the end of my report, unless my time. Good, thank you.
So before we start our public portion, I just want to remind the residents that you have 5 minutes to speak. I ask you to please be as respectful as you can to the board, to the director, to the employees. We will listen to you. Understand that there is no going back and forth. We will not answer, the director will not answer anything now while you guys are speaking. You can set up an appointment to speak to the director directly later on. So I'm going to say it in Spanish so we all understand. Cuando ustedes vengan a hablar en el micrófono, tienen 5 minutos. Le pedimos que por favor sean respetuosos con los comisionadores, con el director y con la gente que trabaja para la autoridad. También le queremos decir que cuando ustedes vienen y dan y hablan de lo que tienen que hablar, nosotros no le vamos a responder. Si ustedes quieren una reunión con el director, más tarde él se la puede dar, él puede hablar con él y él le da la cita para que vayan y lo vean. Okay? So the first person would be Shayna Walker.
Could you just spell?
Angel, can we mute the Zoom user?
Could you just
Thank you.
spell your name?
Yeah, I have a cold, so it's gonna be hard for me to speak. You can hear me. SHANAHWLKER. I live in 501 Marshall Drive, apartment 2A. Yeah, I came to talk about, well, thank you. I just want to thank Barbara for putting up those letters about them kicking the door. It has stopped a lot. Thank you so much.
I appreciate that.
It has.
The credit, but it wasn't my credit. That's the housing authority employee.
But
So thank you for the credit.
Yes, but it has stopped a lot, and thank God, because we don't have to hear it anymore. A lot. They're doing it, but they're not doing it as much as they were doing it. But my apartment, 2A, in 501 Marshall, my bathroom door has been broke for almost a year now. Since they came and fixed, housing came and fixed the leak, they thought it was coming from the kitchen. My kitchen, it wasn't coming from my kitchen, I don't know where it comes from. I guess the whole bathroom wall right there is cracking. The inside is all the sheetrock and stuff. Ask my mom, she's been there. Coming off, the whole wall is almost coming down. I don't know what's going on in there. I guess it's water damage coming down, but I think that's what it is. But the bathroom door been off the hinges, and housing came and I guess drilled it back in when they saw it, when they came to fix something else in the bathroom, and it came right back off. It came right. Asked my mom, she'd been there too. I had to hold the door for my niece and nephew to use the bathroom back and forth. I gotta keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. I'm tired. I have dialysis 3 times a week. I can't keep doing it with my arm on that door. It just keeps on falling off the hinges. The whole thing is almost off the hinges. There's only one hinge holding the door now, right now. And my window been broke since I've been, how long I've been here? 3 years? My window been broke the whole time in my room. I never say nothing because I don't be calling like everybody else every 5 minutes, every 10 minutes about something going on in the housing or broken, this and that and the third, or complaining on people, none of that. But this is gone too long now, and I can't deal with it no more. It's very cold and very free. I'm anemic. I'm very sick. I have diabetes. I have kidney failure. I have high blood pressure, chronically anemic. And that window is freezing cold in my room. I had to buy a new heater because my portable heater broke. My heat don't even work in my room anyway. So, and I have 2 windows. That's why it's so cold in there. I have the big room. But, okay, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. The next person, Maria Diaz.
Yes.
Español.
Just so you guys know, Miss Villa asked me prior to the meeting to translate because she will be speaking in English. So I will do my best. I mean, in Spanish. I will be translating in English. I will do my best.
Could you just spell your name for me?
María Biaud,
Could you spell the last name?
V-I-A-U-D.
buenas noches para todos. Mi situación está siendo un poco deprimente porque me siento discriminada por housing. Yo tengo un
Do you want to
Yes,
stop,
I wanna
like
do it.
stop and then?
So she wants, what she said good evening to everyone. She said that her situation is becoming detrimental. She feels like she's being discriminated against by housing.
Yo le entregué a housing una carta donde mi pareja es mi homemaker.
She actually gave the housing authority a letter stating that her partner is her homemaker.
Hemos tenido, siempre las parejas hay altas y bajas, hemos discutido y peleado. Yo fui a corte hoy, me entregaron el récord criminal de él, todos los casos están dismissed.
Okay, she said that she, as in any couple, they have ups and downs. She said today she went to court, she has gotten his criminal background, all his cases have been dismissed.
Yo tengo anemia, tengo un tumor en mi cabeza,
She said she's anemic, she has a tumor in her head,
bebo medicamentos muy fuertes.
she takes medication.
He tratado de quitar,
I'm sorry, she takes medication?
That's very strong.
he tratado de quitarme mi vida 5 veces ya porque no aguanto la discriminación. Me siento como que housing está manejando mi vida.
Okay, she said that she has tried to commit suicide 5 times due to the situations that have been happening and what has been happening with the housing.
Y a mi pareja le pusieron trespassing, estamos yendo a corte el 19 de febrero, vamos para corte nuevamente.
Her partner has been charged with trespassing and she has a court date for February 19, February 19.
Y yo quiero que esto se llegue a una solución ya porque yo no puedo estar sola en mi casa.
She said she would like a solution because she cannot be in the house by herself, in the apartment by herself.
Otra de las cosas que no me siento segura en housing es que supuestamente las puertas de housing son controladas, que nadie puede tener acceso a esas llaves. Pero si tú vas al supermercado Acme,
She said her next situation is that she doesn't feel safe here in the housing because although they say that the doors are supposed to be secure, that if you go to Acme,
en Acme tú vas y puedes poner la información de cualquier building de la Housing Authority en una maquinita y te hace las IDs y unas chapitas para abrir todas las puertas.
she said that if you go to Acme and you go to their kiosk there, the key kiosk, and you put the information in, that you can create access cards and you can create a key that will let you into the apartment.
Porque yo misma saqué una llave para chequear y me abrió la puerta. Pagué $35.
And she said that she knows that it works because she did it herself. She did go get a key and tried it herself, and it does work.
I'm sorry, Chair.
Right, can we just let her finish and then we'll ask any questions? I'm sorry.
No, yeah.
Thank you, babe.
También quiero que el director, aunque sea una vez al mes, salga de la oficina y dé vuelta chequeando qué es lo que está pasando alrededor de Hoboken Housing. No queremos un director que esté todo el tiempo metido en una oficina.
She said she would like the director to at least once a month walk through the premises and see what's happening on the housing authority, that they do not want a director that sits in the office all the time.
Chequeen las personas que viven aquí, que están en cama. A veces los familiares no vienen, no tienen comida. Súbale en el pantry para arriba si saben que están apostrados en cama.
She said that there are homebound individuals that cannot come out their apartments and that housing needs to check on them and maybe help them by bringing them their meals.
Otra de las cosas que cuando a veces fallecen familiares de nosotros, vamos a suponer que yo fallezca, mi hijo no está en el list y yo fallezco, vienen rápido y ponen un familiar en el list, habiendo muchas personas afuera esperando para entrar a vivir en Hoboken Housing.
She she says that another issue that she sees is that a lot of people, what they're doing is that when someone is dying, they put someone else on the lease so that when the person is deceased, they then can take over the apartment, not taking into account that there are so many people on the waiting list waiting for an apartment.
Y a veces también hay personas que van para la oficina a bochinchar y le quitan el tiempo a los managers bochinchando de otras personas. Que la oficina no retengan a esa gente hablando bochinche, que se pongan a lo suyo, a trabajar y hacer lo que tienen que hacer por Hoboken Housing.
And she says, problem that she sees is that in the management office, that there are individuals that just go in there to gossip, which takes a lot of the management time, and the management should not be entertaining those conversations, and they should stop.
Eso es todo, muy buenas noches, y espero que tengan cartas sobre mi asunto.
She said, good night to everyone, and that she hopes that everyone has a copy of the letter that she has received. Sandra Smith.
Sandra Smith?
Is it Smith with it R-E, just T-H?
S-M-I-T-H. Okay, good evening. I'm talking for one of the residents. Well, she just asked me to ask a question. The community room is here. Like Mr. Greco said, we here, occupied. So the residents, seniors, they be upstairs, they're kind of bored, so they come down, sit down, have their lunch in peace. But the idea is they wait so late to clean this community room. By 12 o'clock, this floor should be done already clean. So when they come down 12, they can sit down and eat their lunch and, you know, just socialize and be down here comfortable with no problem, but it's not working that way. And they wanted to kind of fix it. And another thing too that I need to ask, like I told Barbara, this place is very busy all the time. And one thing about it, y'all forgot about 221 Jackson Street. I mean, 220 Adams is nicely clean, painted, floors clean. Here, we look like we are the poorhouse. I'm actually to say that because if you go up on certain floors, like my floor, you'll go by that window, it's so dirty, and it's like, company came in the holidays and they said, you know what happened? Why is it so dirty? I said, well, they're supposed to paint. Now, I know you had measurements to paint and you got an application to do it, but we're still waiting kindly to wait. So I'm coming to you to get an answer, maybe later on when we have a meeting, whatever, discuss why we're waiting. We need this here to be fixed. If you look at these walls, they're cracking, they're peeling, they're dirty. Chairs are missing, they've ripped. And, you know, like I said, we're working with Yolanda. Yolanda is doing it. But every time when we have a fair, okay, we put our names on these tables, 221 Jackson. But sometimes the chairs and the tables don't come. Now, we had 14 tables, round tables. Now we only got 7. And we got mostly these long tables. So right now we're trying to do a nice activities in here for the seniors, to keep them busy, to keep their mind going. We had a lot of death in this building. And I mean, it's been a lot. And unfortunately, you know, some are old, illness and everything. But we want to keep on going. So help us out, create this place a nice place. So we can be saying that this is home, this is nice. But right now, they fix, I hate to say it, they clean it and fix it up because y'all here. But this should be done all the time. All the time. And a lot of people could say that. It should be nice. We try to keep it clean. When we have bingo, we clean, we take the garbage out. And another thing too, I have to say, it's nice to rent it out to different people like the school, okay? They just had it. They left this place filthy. You know who cleaned it up? And I need to hire him right back, Larry. The pantry, before the pantry came out, all the garbage was all lined up here. I got pictures on my phone. It was all lined up. The floor was all dirty. And I'm like, wow. But if you use it, you clean it up. And if they rent it, then they have to clean it up or have somebody after when they leave to come and check. It was filthy. I came downstairs to put the broom and the dustpan and the mop back in the closet, which I gave it to them to clean it, and they didn't do it. So it was unfair for us. I mean, this place is clean, we don't have much roaches, and we sure containing the mice in this building, but by them keep using it, And like these doors, you need to put new doors, and that one elevator, number 1, you press, if you don't press your number on that elevator, and you press 9 and then, oh, I thought I pressed 2, it'll take you all the way up. It won't stop on 2. So you have to have an elevator man to come and check that elevator. Because we're not going to our floor, we have to go all the way up and then press it to come back down and then stop to each floor. That's number 1. And thank God that they fixed the door in the front because it was so cold. We sit there, we volunteer, which is going very well. We're getting all these packages. People are getting their packages. Now and then it might be a slip up in between because at 4 o'clock we stop. And sometimes the UPS and all of them come in. And sometimes the package get kind of missing in between because there's nobody there. So we try to do our best. Sometimes if I'm still down there, I'll see the package and I'll know the people and they ask, can you bring it upstairs, like the ones with no legs or something? Like the lady Carmen, I would do it because she's an older lady and she don't have no legs when the homemaker go. So we just try to do everything that we can do in here. Like right now we're doing this prom night, me and Margie, Yolanda, and Nova. So you can stop by and see, but we're gonna transfer this here into a nice place. But work with us, let us know, you know?
Thank you, Sandra.
Okay, thank you.
Sandra. Thank you, Sandra.
Timothy Craig.
Just spell your last name.
P-R-A-Y-L-O-W.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Timothy Cradle, Apartment 1, D as in David. Hi, there's so much to talk about, you know. I know we have 5 minutes. I feel by me coming back here is just insane to keep talking about my mother's toilet for years, not weeks or months. I mean, how can someone you're sitting on a toilet and it's flushing up on you? That is just disgusting. And to constantly bring this up, nothing's being done, it is sad. Now, I'm living with my mother for a few years now. And my mother's like, she's not in the best health. So I've been looking to get more space. And I went to Mr. Greco. Because Sandra said, well, if anyone you can talk to Mr. Greco. So I went to have a meeting with Mr. Greco. I didn't find it to be a pleasant meeting. That's another story. So, because I don't think he was hearing me. If I say to you, my mother's needs, she's fell on the floor twice, rushed to the hospital, that I have to get some other things, she needs a chair, that we have the lack of space, an oxygen tank, and she falls on her head, and I need to get a mobile chair in the house. We're already short of space. I'm in a living room. I don't have a bed, let's remind that. I'm in a living room, so I'm trying to just do what I can to have my space. It's a lot. So, here I am in this little space trying to make things work, which is very hard. It really is. I'm a man, my mother's a woman. And y'all women know. A son shouldn't have to see things with his mother, but I have to take care of my mother because that's my mother. I love her, and I'll die for my mother. I can have someone come in to help me look out for her. We don't have the space for that. So I came to Mr. Grass and Mr. Greco. Let me explain what's going on. But he said he'll help me. He said, I would take you out of this building and put your mother, maybe we can cross the street, one of the other buildings. Why would you do that? Take my mother out of this building when I said she needs a wheelchair. So I'm gonna bring her in a small 34 building and carry a wheelchair up and down the stairs, or rollate up and down the stairs. Either you didn't hear me or you didn't care. Well, let me tell you, I care for my mother. You may not care, but I care for my mother's needs. And when I came to you, there were 4 apartments in this building. I said, well, you know what, since you can't give me a 2-bedroom apartment, let me have the 1-bedroom apartment so I can be here with my mother. I have a camera which I watch my mother. You told me no, we don't give dual apartments. So before I even came in, it was like, why, it's like, you looked at me and said, well, like, why am I even here? Like, why am I here even talking to you? It was terrible. So you didn't hear the needs, because if you heard the needs, you would have been a little more open. If I said to you, my mother's in a rollator, why would you take her out this building to put her into another building? Which doesn't even make sense. How concerned are you? You're not concerned to make a statement like that. And then you told me, looks like you're trying to get over, like you're trying to get ahead of people. I'm gonna make it clear, I don't need to get over, and I'm not trying to get in front of anyone. I brought it to you because my mother had a note from the doctor, how serious this issue is with my mother, and it went unnoticed. And not only you, a few other people within this housing. It's terrible. I'm her son, taking care of my mother. I don't have privacy. I don't have a bed where I can go and lay down. I don't have a room to say, let me have a quiet moment for myself. I don't have that. It's a 24/7 thing with me, with my mother, and I'll do it for my mother. But I don't have a room to say, well, let me go read my book. I'm in the living room. Don't you understand? I'm tripping over stuff. You know, I jug every night, take my mother's oxygen tank out from her room. I said, Mom, no, come out of the room. You don't have to stay there all day to make it for me. Come in the living room. I'm juggling from bathroom, her needs in the bathroom. She needs her space. That's my mother, and I'll do it for my mother. But when you tell me I'll take her out this building and I'll put her in another building, something's wrong there. You're not hearing me or you don't care. So I'm just like, I think that was a terrible thing to say to me. And to say to me, looks like you're trying to get over, look like you're trying to get ahead of people. How are you going to tell me I'm getting ahead of people? I'm paying rent, double rent. Let's get real here, double rent. I pay double rent. When people just came here, got on a lease, and they pay a rent for years. I'm paying rent, but they get the apartment. But people want to blow the building up, they get to live good. You got people with drugs and outside the building. I can prove that, but they give to live nice. But my mother, who was the first black African woman in City Hall to work, helped the community, still help the community. First black woman and Model City secretary, but yet my mother doesn't get quality of life. And that's what I'm dealing with. So does she deserve that? No, I don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. I can't wait for a building to come up and see I'm going to get in there. You know, I don't have that. I don't have that luxury. Time doesn't wait for anyone. I don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. I may go before my mother. But I'm trying to give my mother quality of life. Last night my mother got sick. I was up to 6 o'clock in the morning. I thought I had to call the ambulance. But thank God she made it through. You know what it is when your mother can't breathe and you think you're losing her? That's the worst feeling. And you're tripping because you're trying to make room for the ambulance to come in. You got all this equipment. You're moving here, moving there, juggling. That's not easy. And I was hoping the cops got it on camera because when he came he tripped. I hope it's on camera when I have to call him. It's not good. And to tell me that I don't need to get over, and I don't need to get in front of anyone. That is not the answer you give to me. And you don't come and you see my mother, how you doing? You ask her, how can I help you? You know how she's doing. What a question. It's not fair that way my mother's living, how I'm living. And there's 4 apartments in this building now. We'll see what happens.
Thank you.
ADRIENNE-RAWLINS. Although the radiator in my sister's living room was replaced, it's still not giving out heat, and it's turned on. She's cold. Window has been closed, but it's still not working. And it's been checked twice. Snow removal for parking lots, you're not creating a walkway from the building to the parking lot where residents need to get into the taxi or go to their cars, dig out their cars. It's not being done. and it's not being salted. Coming out of my building, going down towards the parking lot, narrowly slipping because it's not shoveled. There's no walkway to the parking lot. That has to change. We need a walkway to the parking lot. I had to take my shopping cart from the front parking lot all the way around to the 6th Street side to get onto the sidewalk and then walk all the way into my building. That I should not have had to do. So you're failing when it comes to snow removal. I called for a work order yesterday morning, and when I called back later in the afternoon, the secretary had answered. She says, I'll look into it, click. Didn't X my name, didn't X my phone number. She said she knew who I was. How do you know? I don't care if it's caller ID and it says my name. You're supposed to ask someone's name and their phone number and their unit. That's proper protocol. And then the doorbell has the incorrect initials for over a year now, and I've made a complaint about it before. It has AP, that would be my daughter's initials, and not head of household. It should have the head of household on there, and it doesn't. Your maintenance guy is not cleaning the building. The dirt that's been on my floor since Friday night, Saturday morning is still there. So he's not going up to every single floor as he should. That's unacceptable. And if I end up having to clean it, I'm going to charge the housing authority for it because that's my time that I have to waste to do their jobs. I already have a job. So, you know, you need to do better.
Thank you. Mr. Laction? Frank Laction?
He went upstairs.
If that's it, then we motion to close the public portion. All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Moving forward to resolution number 2026-0201, resolution of the Housing Authority of the City of Hoboken to approve the meeting minutes for January 8, 2026, regular board meeting as revised. Motion. Second. Second. Guys? Commissioner Davis, you had a, David, you had a question.
If you turn to page 5, and about go all the way down the page, it says resolution 2026-0108, and it talks about it, but then it says later, a hard copy of the resolution was signed is on file. Shouldn't the resolution be attached to the minutes? I mean, it doesn't even say who we awarded it to.
I don't think it says it here, I think it says it in the court reporters.
Yeah, but I mean, this is a copy of the minutes, and it's supposed to be 0108. There's no 0108, and the only reference to it is here. Shouldn't we attach 0108 to the minutes?
Well, I think the way we do the minutes is that the resolution .08, we don't attach all of the resolutions from last month onto this month's minutes because it was
every other resolution that we talked about last month is here. There's 01 through 07.
They're attached in your packet.
Yep. They're
The old ones or the new ones?
From last month.
These are the new ones.
No, there's 01, 02.
For this one?
No, it's 01, 02. Look at page 2, 2026,
Yeah, it
01,
has a
01.
blurb under each
01, 02, 01, 03. They're all there. Shouldn't there be something?
And if it helps at all, If you recall, 0108 was the resolution that Commissioner Edwards made from the floor and read into the record.
Right. But
What he's saying is it still should have.
Oh, yeah, I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just providing some clarity so that everybody understands.
And I agree that it was an unusual resolution. I'm just trying to, like, again.
I think I'm catching up with you. I think that, just like the rest on 07, it says a resolution to designate signatories with respect to Provident Bank. It should have been 2026-01.07, a resolution to, I can't remember what the resolution was.
It's a resolution to award a contract for fiscal audited services to Nova Nordic.
So it should have said that in the same format that the others did.
Or,
I get that.
yeah,
No, I think you're right. It should, yes.
so I guess we just hold this till next, what do we do? Or do we add it to this, what's the easiest way to do this?
I don't see any issue with tabling it and considering a revised version next month. I would make a motion to table it now that it's been introduced.
I agree.
So there's already a motion, so we,
No, there's not.
Oh, no, there hasn't been.
if you tell me what I want to do, and I'll do it.
What do you think? Has there been a motion and a second for the minute? Yes.
There has been.
Okay, so I would make a motion to table it until next month.
A new motion.
That would be.
A new motion.
Yeah.
So we don't have to.
Withdraw the motion?
Sorry?
Should the first motion be withdrawn?
You could do it either way. You could either withdraw the initial
Tell me
motion.
which way you want me to do it.
I would, I think the easiest thing would be to make a motion to table it to revise the language
I make a
regarding
motion.
0108.
I make a motion to table resolution 2026-0201 till next board meeting.
Motion.
Well, motion was made by
Second.
Commissioner Edwards.
Second, right.
All in favor, oh, I guess I don't say that, you
Take
do.
the roll. Yeah.
Yeah, are we ready?
Yes.
For a roll? David Edwards,
Yes,
Anthony Forbes,
I think he's not on anymore,
Right.
and I also don't see Ms. Vega on anymore. Is she on, Commissioner Vega?
Here.
Oh, okay. Got it.
nice pick. Or Anthony for Barbara Reyes,
Yes.
Jean Rodriguez,
Yes.
James Sanford, Erica Seitzman.
Yes.
Carmen Vega.
Yes.
So now, resolution number 2026-0202, resolution authorizing the payment of monthly list of bills for the Hoboken Housing Authority.
Motion.
Second.
I just have one question,
Yes, Commissioner.
and it's on the list of bills for the housing for Hoboken. And, well, you have one too.
Yes, I do.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
On number 16, Jack's Towing and Recovery.
I'm sorry,
Service.
number 16?
16, Jack's Towing and Recovery is the line item. My only question is, it seems like we repair this truck a lot. Should we replace it? It's 2008.
There's
It's just a question for the Housing Authority. I mean, obviously, we've got to approve this one.
We'll take a look.
Yeah.
And just for clarity, I think based on the revised version, it's actually now number 18. Just wanna-
Oh, I'm looking.
No, you have, I'm sure you have the initial version, which makes complete sense. Just want to make sure everybody's on the same page.
Literally.
We'll take a look at that, Commissioner.
Okay.
On that
It's
vehicle.
page 4. No, it's not page 4. I guess it is page 4. And then now it's number 18. So I misspoke. It's not item 16, it's item 18 of the amended list of bills. And agreed to take a look, that's great. I have no other questions or comments.
So I have two questions, because I just signed two checks, and I don't remember if they're both. So it was only one time that we towed the truck, because there's two checks that I just signed for the same company that towed.
So there was one for 945 that was just discussed for the Fox Hill. And then was there another, I believe that there was another one for Jack's towing for $4,000. $4,329.86.
4,000?
For a different vehicle.
And it's also on the Housing Authority list of bills, not the Housing for Hoboken.
Okay, sorry.
Number 59.
Yes. So,
But it's a different vehicle?
Yeah.
That's a different vehicle.
Yeah, it's an 09 Jeep Cherokee, it is a number 15.
Okay, so that was for the towing and the repair, correct? That's,
Yes, that vehicle had to get towed up there.
Director, I have a question. Isn't that the truck that we were trying to replace because it was giving us a hard time previously? Was that the same one? I know that we had several conversations on this board about.
We did, and that's the old,
The old Jeep
big
Grand
one.
Cherokee.
The big one.
Yeah, it's around the main campus.
Yeah, the big one.
I know we spent a lot of money on that, so I refer back to what.
We'll take a look at that one too. That
Yeah.
one's been a problem for a long time, so we've been kind of nursing it along. So we'll take a look at that.
So maybe all the money that we're spending on it, we might as well pay for it.
We'll take a look. I'll report back to you.
And I also have another question. So number 70, the main access systems and their check. I know I was looking at the descriptions of what that's for, and that's the front doors, the back doors of the buildings, correct? That's what the checks say.
And the gates.
And the bell's not working. Now, my main issue, and I spoke to you about this because the director wasn't at the meeting. The bells are not working regardless. I don't know, we're paying them, but they're not working. They have not been working for months. 311 Harrison, the back door has not worked for months. 220, 218, 222. That bell has not worked for now 2 months, Director.
Yes, ma'am.
They came in about 2 weeks ago. They tried something, didn't work. Recently, last week, again, because I'm constantly on the phone with the director about this. Again, they tried something again, it doesn't work. My frustration is, if the system is theirs, what is happening that they cannot fix the problem? We should not be paying for a service, because we're paying them to come out to do nothing. And the reason I'm frustrated about it is, it's not me personally, my family gets in and out. But when I getting home and I have my fellow neighbors yelling out their window like, this has not worked for a month, like what is going on? And I know that I'm reporting it, right? And I say they're working on it. And their question is the same thing. Well, they come and they say they fix it and it does not work. I went as far as having Sammy, when they came, ring my bell so I can show him how it's not working. And it did not work, and they were just on site. So my frustration is, why are we paying them? Like, something has to give. Either you're fixing the problem, or you're not fixing the problem, and we need to move on and get someone else. Because it's absolutely ridiculous, it's not fair to the residents, and I think we forget that residential buildings, like I have seniors that live next to me, that have to go up and down those stairs to let their family members in. That's not fair. So, I'm sorry, I'm a little passionate about that because I'm tired of it.
I don't think we forget that at all.
Yeah.
I don't think we forget that. And as you know, we've been working on this for quite a while. I really think, we had a discussion this afternoon, I think we need to look at a new bell system out of capital fund this year. Because they are coming and putting in the hours and it's just not working. The control boxes are a problem. They're again trying another control box. They got this excuse, that excuse, the other excuse.
It's Verizon's fault, then it's the access system's fault. Then Verizon comes out, Verizon says it's the access system.
Yeah.
Nobody ever gets to the bottom of what the problem is.
And I've about had it. Anything you want to add?
And what can we do to make it easier for the residents, right? Because if we can't fix the bell, then what are we gonna do?
Then we need a new bell system. Without a doubt. I think the system is.
Yeah, keep in mind that this is a system that was put in place after Hurricane Sandy was put in place as on the main campus, so Jackson, Harrison Gardens and Columbus was put in all together at the same time for a contract with a couple of people did. But again, it's over 10 years old. It's a system and they are piecemeal trying to hit it. And yes, we do understand that one is pointed to the other, whether it's this phone provider, whether it's access control, main access, or whether it's Johnston who does a lot of the programming. It's a
Yeah,
third
and
way back.
at one of those visits, you had both providers there because they were both trying to fix it. And I know that it's being done because I witnessed it myself, but it's just, again, they're coming and nothing is happening, so I don't know how.
Sammy, do you have any final comment on that? Because we are looking at that, Commissioner. We are seeing what we can do about that and possibly a new system for this coming year. But I don't know if Sammy can hear us or not.
Yes, I can. Good evening. From my understanding, it's actually from Johnston's communication. The phone line is what's giving you the issue with allowing the door to open. Now, the communication between the intercom and the resident's cell phone is active. When it's time to let the person open the door, the communication is losing out somewhere. So you cannot open the door. Johnston Communication, from my understanding, is that it's working one phone line to the 3 buildings, which that could probably either be updated, where you can put an individual phone line to each building, so the program won't get interfered with any other calls. Now, that's something that we would have to have them come back on site or revisit and go out for a bid for a different program system.
Well, Sammy, as we spoke earlier, I don't mind taking a look at a quick call to see if we can get 2 more phone lines in there. Because from what I understand, what's going on is you've got 3 entries, and somebody at entry A is trying to call, and somebody at entry B is trying to get in, and they're knocking each other out because there's not enough phone lines. So I don't mind looking at some phone lines if it's reasonable. But again, I think we need to take a serious look at revamping the system across.
Even in conversation with us, maybe a wireless system could probably work.
We'll find, yeah,
it's
we'll
new
find
modern time, you know, so.
the best system that's available. I think everyone's going with a wireless now, but I do think, but that's a longer term solution, Commissioner, and I understand your frustration now. So I think we ought to proceed with the short term, trying a couple different phone lines, and then we do the longer term on getting a bid out to look at what it's going to take to replace that bell system. Because I'm as frustrated as you are, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's good. Okay, so does anyone have any further questions? Okay. So that's it. I guess Director call the vote.
David Edwards?
Yes.
Anthony Forbes? Is it gone?
He's not on.
Barbara Reyes?
Yes.
Jean Rodriguez?
Yes.
James Sanford? Erica Seitzman?
Yes.
Carmen Vega?
Yes.
Resolution number 2026-0203, a resolution of the Housing Authority of the City of Hoboken to increase the amount of contract for general legal services.
Motion. Second.
Commissioner, please.
I don't have the original approval for these guys, but I thought normally it was required for us to be informed if 80% of the annual bill had been used. And 80% of 100,000 is 80,000, and we're only hearing about it at 117,000. Am I?
Yeah, let's find out. Did we get a notice, or you know where that is? I know they notified us a couple months ago, but I don't know where the 80% stands. We talked in meetings with them that it looked like we're going to go over this year. So we finally got to the point where you guys knew you were going to go over and had a projected figure. So I don't think we asked them for a letter as such. Just in conversation saying, look, we put in a lot of time this year with redevelopment, with the other things that are happening. And he said, okay, that's coming. When you guys really have a good projection for the end of the year, give us that. So we didn't get a letter as such. I don't believe that then we brought to the board. But I mean, we kind of knew a couple months ago that we were heading for this.
Yeah, we got that notice at the end of December, but at that point, through the services rendered through December 15th, we were at that 117.
So I guess, just procedural question. Is the notification only required from them to the housing authority, or is it also required from the housing authority to the board? What's the, I guess it depends on how the resolution is written, right?
I don't think we've ever brought ahead of time a level of, we expect, we're at 80%, that a consultant is expecting to go over the amount, that we brought that to the board ahead of time. We've always said, once a contractor or consultant usually talks to us and says, we think we're going to run short, we work with them, and when we have the figure down and we know where we're going, then we come to the board. But we don't normally come to the board with an anticipation that a consultant is going to go over that amount. Once they hit that 80%, they're talking to us, they're talking to Evelyn, they're talking to me, but we don't normally come back to the board at that point and say, hey board, watch out, this might go over. We wait until we have something that's actionable for the board. Because that's not actionable. At a notice at 80%, there's nothing we can do except to start to look at their numbers and start to say, Evelyn and I are like, well, this makes sense or doesn't make sense. And in this case, it makes sense. We understand what they've done.
And I'm not questioning their work or anything, it's just procedurally, is this a...
Well, and I know it's awkward for, possibly awkward for me to be answering the question, but in general, the resolution is written so that the notice is provided to the housing authority, and the way that typically happens, not just here, but in general, would be provided to housing authority staff, and then it would be authority policy on when that would be brought to the board in general.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Are there any further questions, concerns?
And, I guess, when, or does it say it here, when does the contract, so we're at 117 and we think we're going to be less than 178 by March, right? It's only just another 6 weeks or so, right?
Yes. So the resolution, first of all, the term of the contract stands to be for services rendered through March 31st of this year. As of right now, we have billings through January 15th of 26, and they total, I think, 12,222.
Well, that was on the list of bills.
Yeah.
So that list of bills is in addition to this 117.
Correct.
So they're at 130 basically, as of the last bill.
Right. As of January 15th, they're at 130, and the contract is to bring them to March 31st, cumulatively anticipated at 178.
And if you guys are comfortable with 178, that's fine. It just sounds like you're getting close to 178 again with all the work you're going to be doing for the payments. Okay, well, this is what, I'm okay.
After 178, it's pro bono, right?
Madam's like, I don't think so, but.
All right, so I guess we vote.
There's no further questions, then Director, you could call the vote.
David Edwards?
Yes.
Anthony Forbes? Barbara Reyes?
Yes.
Jean Rodriguez?
Yes.
James Sanford? Erica Seitzman?
Yes.
Carmen Vega?
Yes.
Okay. Resolution number 2026-0204, resolution of the Housing Authority of the City of Hoboken to increase the amount of the contract for Harrison Gardens door replacement.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Weren't these already done?
No, this is, we talked about it at our committee meeting.
Okay.
With Emily. Yeah, I know you're getting confused because I was like, wait, we talked about that too. But remember that we spoke about it, that was the meeting that
With
Mark.
the, with the door and the...
Yes, the
Okay,
door,
got
yeah,
it.
we discussed.
Okay, yep, fine, no question.
Okay, so no questions, call the vote.
David Edwards?
Yes.
Anthony Forbes? Barbara Reyes?
Yes.
Jean Rodriguez?
Yes.
James Sanford? Erica Seitzman?
Yes.
Carmen Vega?
Yes.
Resolution number 2026-0205, a resolution of the Housing Authority of the City of Hoboken to extend the contract for electrical services.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Questions, concerns? Director, call the vote.
David Edwards?
Yes.
Anthony Forbes? Barbara Reyes?
Yes.
Jean Rodriguez?
Yes.
James Sanford? Erica Seitzman? Carmen Vega?
Yes.
Resolution number 2026-0206, a resolution of the Housing Authority of the City of Hoboken to extend the contract for landscaping services.
Motion. Second.
Questions, concerns? Director, call the vote.
David Edwards.
Yes.
Anthony Forbes, Barbara Reyes,
Yes.
Jean Rodriguez,
Yes.
James Sanford, Erica Seitzman, Carmen Vega.
Yes.
Resolution number 2026-0207, a resolution of the Housing Authority of the City of Hoboken to award a contract for cameras in elevators.
Motion.
Second.
Aren't these already installed?
They're installing.
Okay.
I gave them the,
Yep, yep.
get started.
Okay, so, if there's no questions or
No.
concerns?
Call the vote.
Thank you. David Edwards.
Yes.
Anthony Forbes, Barbara Reyes.
Yes.
Jean Rodriguez,
Yes.
James Sanford, Erica Seitzman, Carmen Vega.
Yes.
Resolution number 2026-0208, a resolution of the Housing Authority of the City of Hoboken to award a contract for the supply of residential appliances.
Motion.
Second.
Questions, concerns?
I have a general question. Do we put any energy efficiency requirements into these bids?
Emma? Or Director?
I mean, when we do the appliances, I'm just thinking as we look at utility bills,
Yeah.
are there,
Yeah, I have to take a look at this particular RFP that, again, this is an extension, but I know we've always done Energy Star, but we haven't gone to a lead level, but we've always done the Energy Star level of which is kind of the standard, which is the Energy Star level. I do know that, but we haven't gone to the next level, which is the lead certified level, which is considerably more expensive.
Yeah, their Energy Star, it's a new bid.
Yeah.
Based
Their
on
Energy Star.
past bids.
thank you.
There's no further questions, Director, please call the vote.
David Edwards.
Yes.
Anthony Forbes, Barbara Reyes.
Yes.
Jean Rodriguez.
Yes.
James Sanford, Erica Seitzman. Carmen Vega.
Yes.
Resolution 2026-0209, a resolution of the Housing Authority of the City of Hoboken to award a contract for 320 Jackson Street brick repairs.
Motion.
Second.
Questions, concerns? Director, call the vote.
David Edwards.
Yes.
Anthony Forbes, Barbara Reyes.
Yes.
Jean Rodriguez.
Yes.
James Sanford, Erica Seitzman.
Yes.
Carmen Vega.
Yes.
Resolution number 2026-0210, a resolution of the Housing Authority of the City of Hoboken to award contracts for residential services program providers, Amazing Truth Society, Andrew Jackson Resident Council, Boys and Girls Club of Hudson County Community Lifestyle Corporation, Girls in Gear, High Sports Foundation, Hope's Community Action, Partnership Incorporated, Spiritual Assembly of Baha'is of Hoboken, Street Life Ministry, Trending into a New Life.
Motion.
Second with a question.
Okay. Commissioner Rodriguez, your question?
Yes, with this here, we have a resident person, for the residents. How can we need all these people here? What are they gonna be doing? If Becky is the resident services, right? For the residents, why do we need all these people? What are they gonna be doing?
Director, you want to answer or you want me to answer?
Yeah, if you want to take it
I want
first.
somebody to answer.
Sure.
So these are for programs. For example, Hopes is asking for money for the back to school program. When you look at Street Life Ministry is doing their breakfast program from 6 a.m. So all of this are programs that have been happening probably for the last 5. I've been on the board, so at least 5 years, probably more. So if you look at,
I understand that, because I know that we gave money before for this. But I was thinking,
we give money every year. It's for because.
I know that, Erica. I know that.
So please
But
give
I
me
was
1
just
second.
wondering.
1 second, please. So Becky, whoever the staff member is, we appreciate them. They can't do everything. This is why we have to bring in our community partners. Our community partners are hand in hand with us to do the work. Without the community partner, we cannot do the work.
And I'd like to add something, because this is a misconception that folks have. Becky is the resident services coordinator, right? So we don't have a staff to put on an after-school program and to put on a breakfast program and to put on a Boys and Girls Club basketball program. We don't have the staff, or frankly, we don't have the expertise. And what the way the setup works is we look for folks that do know how to do baseball programs or after-school programs or back-to-school programs, and we coordinate that work, because what we do have is we have community rooms, we have a ball field, we have a way to communicate with our residents, we have our Nixle, we have our newsletter and our website. So that coordination is done by the administrative staff, but we don't actually do the program, right? So that's the way it's set up. So that's my answer to your question, Commissioner Rodriguez, is that we do the coordination, they do the actual program.
I have a question, Director, for Andrew Jackson Resident Council. Who is
Yes.
that?
Yes, that is the resident council at Andrew Jackson. President is Joe McDonald, and Jolinda's the vice president.
Okay.
And that council is asking to actually do a tutoring program at the Andrew Jackson Community Center.
I got a couple of questions.
Commissioner?
Is this the total budget then for these? Is it 25,000 a year and we're giving out the whole thing here?
2,500, right? 2,500 an organization, right? And that is what we have set aside to give to these organizations.
So my question is, what's the total? Is the total budget 25,000? So we in effect have given up the whole 25,000 for this year.
We have.
Okay.
Yes.
And I guess as an aside later, I know one organization that would like to bid for this, so I just learned what the RFP process for next year.
Yeah.
And then
I will say, if that organization, just comment on that, if that organization doesn't want money.
No, they do want money, they didn't know that they could apply
see.
for the money. So
But if they still want to start a program, they can still talk to me about doing a program,
Yeah.
but we just wouldn't give them any money.
Right.
Okay?
And then the last question, noticing the Baha'is are on here, do we have any restrictions on religious affiliation or any other types of affiliations?
We do.
Okay.
We do, and I've reviewed their materials already, and they, in my opinion, are sufficiently secular. And you know, we do have, we often have partnerships with church-based and religious-based organizations, whether it be Hoboken Grace Church or whether it be this newer group that's here. And we're very clear to them that it is not to be a proselytizing recruitment for any specific religious group.
And are there any other industry exceptions? Or, I mean, I can't think of any, but I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just a little bit of color. There is a HUD regulation about HUD funds being either directly or as a sub-grant, which I would consider this a sub-grant, to faith-based organizations. It's perfectly acceptable as long as it does not involve, I believe it's worship, religious instruction, or proselytizing.
So they can't do a Bible study, but they can do after-school tutoring.
They could do after-school tutoring, they could do, you know, meals, things like that.
Got it.
Yeah, absolutely. Great. And frankly, they work well. They do. They really work well.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question.
Yes, Commissioner Vega?
I do hear the question that Dave just asked. But my question, I couldn't hear it clearly. How much money are they making?
$2,500.
Not making, how much money are they getting?
$2,500, $2,500.
Each.
Okay.
Yeah.
For what they do it to you.
Yeah.
I give them a big plus on that.
Oh, and then aside,
Thank you.
If I could just make one more comment to clarify the question. I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, Emil, there is one organization that did not request a grant and is not receiving a grant, it is being designated as a program provider, but it didn't request and is not receiving one of the mini grants. That's Hive Sports.
My question is on the whereas right below all the names. Whereas a review of the proposal has identified.
I'm sorry, could you just slow down when you're reading?
Sorry. It's the paragraph right below the names. It says, whereas a review of the proposals has identified various curable deficiencies, and council or the authority has recommended the award of any contract to these entities be conditioned upon the receipt and approval by the authorities of all required documents. I'm just curious what the curable deficiency, it's just kind of an unusual paragraph.
I can give some examples if you want. So I've reviewed all of these, and the RFP requires certain proofs of insurance.
Okay.
And they don't have to be, under the RFP, they don't have to be provided at the time of proposal. They have to be provided prior to the time of execution of a contract, and they have to be kept current. That would be one example. It asks for a list of all members of the governing body of the entity. So in some cases, and the RFP provides that these are all waivable if the authority so chose, but there are certain things that weren't provided at the time of proposal that it's perfectly fine for them to be provided now. The recommendation is just that it be conditioned, the actual award of the contract and the execution of the contract be conditioned upon receipt and approval of those.
And this is an add-on, that resident services coordinator position, and us meet with each of these organizations before we enter an agreement with them. And we go through all of these rules with them. We go through what insurances are needed, all of that good stuff. So we actually have a pre-program meeting with all of them to make sure everything's good. And I don't think in any of these cases this $2,500 covers the cost of the program. The concept behind this, when we originally started this a number of years ago, was just to give organizations some seed money, just to get started, and then they have to bring in some matching funds.
Thank you.
If there's no further questions, Director, please.
I have a question, I have a comment.
Yes, Commissioner Vega?
My only comment is that I'm a baby boomer. When I needed tutoring, we had to go to the library. So I applaud for every program here right now for the kids. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Vega.
Our staff tries hard. To bring them in.
Always.
We try to make it welcoming to these programs.
Director, you can call the vote.
David Edwards?
Yes.
Anthony Forbes? Barbara Reyes?
Abstain.
Jean Rodriguez?
Yes.
James Sanford? Erica Seitzman?
Yes.
Carmen Vega?
Big yes.
I think that, so now, I guess it's new business. I just have a few things that I'd like to say. First of all, I wanted to say thank you to the maintenance department, because during this storm, they were out there. They did their best. I know that everyone's not always happy with what is done. I think we also have to take into consideration that we don't have the amount of employees that the city or the county has to provide the services for snow removal that they expect. So I know that we did have some residents complain. I personally walked the housing authority right after the storm myself. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't find anything wrong. I think we did a hell of a job, excuse my language, for the amount of people that we have and the guys that were out there day in and day out doing the work till all hours of the night. And I know this because I see them. It's not that I'm saying it because, you know, someone else is telling me. I saw them doing the work. So I just want to say that sometimes they don't get the credit that they're due. And I want to say that I do appreciate it and I thank them. I also thank them because the boiler systems were working on, I mean,
Yes.
it was where I had no heat for about 2-3 hours because something happened with the boilers, and then the boiler men went out there. They did what they could to hold us off through the storm. And then when they were able to get the boiler, someone in professionally to fix the problem, they were able to fix it. So they worked above and beyond to make sure that our residents did not stay without heat. I know that there's always gonna be issues, especially with the higher floors. I did see that there was more issues this time with the senior buildings and the cold going through the windows, and I think that's something that maybe we need to look at for in the future for CDBG funding, because maybe those windows do need to be fixed and so forth, like we're doing with Fox Hills and those things. So again, I just wanted to say thank you for the hard work that they did put in. I also wanted to talk in reference to the ICE policy that I am really looking forward to having it in place. I do want this policy to come in front of the board and for the board to approve this policy. I think it's important. I think that we need to stick together, right? We need to stand together. This is the time for it. And I think we all need to know what to do if they were to come on the property and not be a frenzy. And for it not to be a frenzy where staff doesn't know what to do, commissioners don't know what to do, because sometimes the commissioners are contacted and are told, oh, they might be on the site, and we don't know what to do. So I think, the sooner the better, because it's so prevalent in the times that we're living, that they're here, and they prove that they're here. So I wanted to talk about the produce distribution that we had today. I want to say it was about 60 people in and out. Didn't seem like a lot, to be honest with you. We're used to so much more. It was the first time it was held. It was from 11:30 to 1 p.m. They will be coming every 2 weeks at the same site, as long as the director allows us. We do ask the residents that even if they do not register, please come, because they will register you on site. Please bring a bag. They will, you pick your own produce. They tell you how much you can take of it. It was a really, really nice thing to have happen today. And I think the residents enjoyed it. And I'm pretty sure that if we had 60 today, next time we'll have about 120. It'll double. I did send you some videos and pictures of it. Yeah?
Can you please try to get the seniors in the buildings, because we'd like to have it in their senior buildings.
We can try that. But the truth is that
instead of 311, because they can't get down to 311.
I understand that, but what Hopes has worked out with them is if we get the seniors' names and phone numbers and the information that the partnering agency that we're partnering with requires, our drivers would be willing to drive it to the seniors. So this is something that, again, this was the first time. We did have 2 residents that were actually delivered to. What the agency will do, though, is they will call that resident to make sure that they receive the delivery. So, again, I know you usually get me a list, just like we do for the food pantry. If you get me the list for the next one, we can work on that.
Okay, I will.
Okay?
Okay, dear, no problem.
The Hoboken Middle School was here on site on Tuesday at, again, the 311 Harrison Community Room. They were actually on site to go over the parents with the Encore system that they provide to the parents. They were there also to educate the parents on their rights with the IEPs, the 504 plans. They had an amazing staff there. I was saddened to see that only 3 parents showed up. I think it's so important for them to be educated on advocating for your child. This is personal to me. I have children who are special needs, so I know the importance of understanding an IEP. But I did speak to the principal, and he is willing to come as often as they can to provide this service. They want to have this communication with our residents. So I just hope that in the future that the parents of the Housing Authority take more advantage of it. I mean, we're bringing it to them. They don't have to go to the school or to the Board of Ed to get it. So I think it's an amazing thing. I also encourage our residents to continue to sign up for NICSO, because all these things are going on NICSO, and it's so important. If you don't know how to do it and you are one of our residents, I'm willing to help. You can go down to our office. We will sign you up. I know the Housing Authority has Becky. And I think that's really important. And follow us on social media. It's really, really important because these flyers are being put on there. And thank you, Sandy, because I know that you're the one, you're usually on top of it. I would advise you though to send that survey out again. If you haven't had enough responses. I also think that in Instagram, when you put it on Instagram, that you should also put the link to it where they can click on it, because a lot of them don't know how to do it with this. If it's on a flyer and the scan code is on the flyer and they're looking at it on their phone, you can't scan it.
Yeah.
So maybe just putting the link.
Not on Instagram. You can.
But you can put it on the
In the
profile.
bio.
If you go to the profile and you can, in the bio, that's how people do it. I'm just saying because you're not going to get the responses that you're expecting if they're using social media, because they won't be able to get on it. I think the food pantry, the community food pantry, there was an error. They actually provide the food from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., not 8 a.m., although residents line up at 8 a.m. So it's actually 10 a.m. that they're here.
10 a.m. the distribution starts.
Starts, yes. So they're here a little earlier to set up, but the distribution itself doesn't start till 10 a.m. I think it's important to tell residents that. We also, again, as always, we have our mini food pantry. Any families that need it, it's open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. They can just walk in there, or they can call the Housing Authority, and the Housing Authority will get in touch with us. I know that Councilman Ramos spoke about the field house and how it's going to start. They're going to start building it. How would that affect the agencies that are currently using the field, and will it affect it?
No. The plan is that the field should be in full use while they're doing this project.
Okay. That's
I do have something in the security report. I think there's two things that I wanted to say. And I know we met with the police, we met with the chief, and we gave a lot of good feedback from there. And I just looked up, and there's two folks back there that I want to personally thank, because you're at the meeting and you're here with us, and thank you for being here and for what you do. And the other thing that we talk about, many of you know around this table what we went through with our last security company, right? And there was people complaining, there were people that weren't happy, and we went over to a new company about 3 or 4 months ago, and we've gotten not only some great feedback, but also we have a lady here, and I'd like you to introduce yourselves, please. I don't want to embarrass you, but I've gotten so much good feedback, not only about your company, but about you. Right? And your relationship here and what you're doing here. And it's more than just showing up and putting your feet up. You're interacting, and if I'm not mistaken, you have actually done some reports that helped us find some defiant trespassers. And I just got to thank you for what you're doing. And I want you to introduce yourself to this board personally. And maybe, because I know you've got a background here. So maybe tell them about your background.
Can I just have your name?
Shalika Jordan.
Could you spell it?
SHALEEKA JORDAN. I've been a Hoboken resident all my life. I grew up in 311 and I live in 501. And I just have a passion for security. I've been doing security for 7 years. And I love it. I love to protect people and help people. And as far as this building, I love the residents, and I try to do the best I can to get, safety and security in the building. I don't have no complaints. I'm just, I'm a tough cookie, so they got the right guard, I guess. But I appreciate the housing workers, all of them, including Yolanda, Yesenia, all of y'all for helping me. The managers are very nice people. They're very good. They're always helping. They do a great job. I have no complaints. Maintenance, great, no complaints. That's basically it. Just certain trespassers that's still in the building. leaving stuff in the back doors and stuff, so I'm constantly shooting all over the place, you know. I also think about my safety as well, because I leave at 5 o'clock in the morning, so, you know, I have to keep my head up and my eyes open, but overall, like, I love it, and I thank y'all. Appreciate it.
We appreciate you. Thank you.
Compared to the last reports we had of security.
Absolutely.
I'd like to add to that. Okay, come on, let's go. She is awesome. That is a plus to the building. And she makes sure that our residents and our seniors are taken care of the right way.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
I just want to say something real quickly.
Yes, Commissioner Vega?
Yes. I want you to know that I saw all the hard work that was done during the snowstorm. I saw you guys from Puerto Rico. I said, oh, poor Hoboken. And I saw Barbara, the police officers, and you did a great job. You all did a great job. The police department, the fire department. As far as you made it, Emily Jabor, she's hands-on right away. She's been. She's an advocate, she always been, and that's what she's all about, helping. And I also wanted to say that it's a learning experience every day with you guys. I love David, he's always asking questions, and I'm learning right behind him a little bit more. But I want to thank you all, because you're all amazing.
Thank you, Commissioner
Thank
Vega.
you.
Commissioner Edwards, you had a question?
I just one question that came up. What's the status of painting this building?
We're just looking for the next round of, we're gonna have to do that out of some operating dollars. So we're carving out some space with those dollars to bid this out. So I would think in the next couple months, we should be here, Sandra, to make this happen.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
When are we gonna paint Monroe Gardens?
Okay, there.
And I will also look into, just to respond to that too, I will also look into your floor issue. I mean, if the floors aren't being done, I've got a problem with that, because they should be being done on a quarterly basis. So I will look into that and take your comments seriously.
Yes, Sammy?
The floor stripping and waxing is being conducted.
Yeah.
They are cleaning and stripping the floors. And they're actually waiting for the season, because when they were ready to come to do the floors, the final, we got hit with the first snowstorm, and they didn't want to damage the floors with the salt. Now, number two, that building was actually the first building in the last 3 years that we painted the whole lobby, boiler room, and hall. That's when we started with the idea to start painting the 7-story buildings and the senior building. That is the first building we painted.
So this was the first.
So about 3 years ago, we did paint this, is what you're saying, Sammy?
Correct. Yes, sir, and I have all the information you need on how many man hours we conducted in that building.
Thank you, Sammy.
You're welcome.
Is there any, Commissioner Seitzman?
Yes, if we could just, when the next newsletter comes out, make sure that we include the resident survey, and that anytime we have meetings, we could just coordinate with ourselves to make sure that the survey is available, because we really want your feedback. Your feedback is super important. The more people we can access the first go around, the better.
Thank you.
Do we have hard copies of those?
Not yet.
Okay, if that is all, then motion to close?
Second.
I just want to say something real quickly.
Yes, Commissioner Vega?
I just wanted to apologize for not being there in person, but I have like a cold and sniffles, and I didn't want anyone to get sick.
No worries, it's okay.
Oh, thank you.
So all in favor?
Hey.
Have a good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you all.